And today we're going to be reviewing some videos and we're going to say either fact or fiction based on what we think.
That's right, Bryson.
Thank you,
Good
Kyle.
intro.
I'm Kyle, by the way.
I'm
And right
Bryson.
and right there,
I'm Kian.
that's Kian.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to start it off with the first video. This is the hidden truth about dinosaurs.
Why are you doing that
They just
voice?
found unfossilized soft dinosaur tissue. Soft dinosaur tissue? So now the brilliant scientists are trying to figure out how could tissue stay soft for 70 million years? The thought will never cross their brain to question that maybe it's not 70 million years old. I mean, that thought will never enter their head, okay? We've got 8 of these stones in Pensacola, Florida. It's the largest collection in America, I believe. Why would they put circles on the side of the dinosaurs? Well, nobody ever found dinosaur skin until about 20 years ago, when fossilized dinosaur skin was found. It's very interesting. The dinosaur skin has circle patterns on it. They had to see a live one to know to put that on the stones, because you couldn't tell that from the bones. This guy's cutting the head off a dragon. There's a guy riding one. This guy says nobody's ever seen a dinosaur. Well, why did they put them on their cave paintings? Why did they put them on ancient pottery? Why do we see so many legends of dragons if nobody's ever seen one? Recently, they just found unfossilized soft.
Yeah. I like this one.
Yeah. This one, when I saw it, I was like, this is crazy. I want to find this video right here where they're like using the microscopic when they're using the microscope to
tongs.
to look into this whatever that skin
Mhm.
is. And then absolutely right about all of these pictographs and stuff like that, showing these dinosaurs, dragons, whatever you want to call them. Kind of crazy, and definitely changes like a lot of timelines, especially since we're figuring out like how old our timelines are each and every day. So
The human timeline, you mean?
yes, the
Yeah.
Homo
Yeah.
sapien timeline.
Yeah. I like it just because there's so many across every single culture. There are stories about dragons, from Europe to China to friggin' the Americas. There are stories about dragons, and the only thing I can think of that would be like a dragon would be like a pterodactyl or something like that. That would be
Absolutely.
similar to a dragon.
But isn't the pterodactyl, wasn't it way too heavy so it actually wouldn't be able to fly?
No, they were able to fly.
What's the
Well,
bird
they
that was too big to actually be able to fly?
they
Maybe
say the same thing about a bumblebee, is that it can't fly because it's too heavy, but it still flies. So
yeah,
Yeah.
scientifically it
not
can't.
not all the lies, or not all the scientific uh
Yeah.
what is
Uh,
it called? I don't know, lines of correlation are correct, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bryce.
I mean, realistically, you look at a dragon. I mean, did it breathe fire? Probably not. But a pterodactyl seems pretty reasonable to think
Hmm.
that's a dragon.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
dragon.
Well, I mean, think about it.
Um,
If you saw a giraffe today and you had no idea what a giraffe was, you had no previous knowledge of what a giraffe was, you'd probably like say it had this giant long neck that could, like, I don't know, it could extend and then retract back into its body or something like that. You're gonna make some stuff up about it just because it's so
yeah.
ridiculous.
And it has like antennas on its head or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
actually just an alien.
it's a lightning
Hmm.
rod.
It
Um,
has green skin.
yeah, no, I think dinosaurs are a lot more recent than we think.
Yeah,
I mean, we still technically have dinosaurs, like variants of dinosaurs living today.
Crocodilians.
Yeah, I mean, sturgeons, we have
Hmm.
basically all of them are going to be like aquatic type. But
Yeah.
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 I mean, realistically, though, I'm assuming dinosaurs are a lot more recent than we think they are.
Yeah, I mean that
Probably.
freaking fish. What is it called? Like the coelacanth or something. Um, Prehistoric fish that lived around the same time as the dinosaurs. back in, I want to say like the 80s or 90s. They found a living one in over near Africa, and so it's like they thought those were extinct, and little to us, to our knowledge, they're still just out and about in places that we just never really been to before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Yeah.
why there's like a lot of like believers of like megalodon and or Loch Ness monster, aka whatever
Yeah.
Loch
that
Ness
the beast
monster.
would be. Man,
Yeah.
what is that dinosaur called? That they think
I don't know.
the Loch Ness
Mosasaur?
It's the
monster
one.
is.
It's the one from Jurassic World.
Mosasaur.
That big one.
Mosasaur.
I'm pretty sure it's a mosasaur.
Hmm.
I think.
But
So would
yeah,
this fact or fiction be humans did indeed live
that's what
alongside
I'm trying to
dinosaurs?
think. Is like, what exactly is the fact and fiction here? Like,
The
I think humans lived alongside dinosaurs. That would be the fact or fiction.
Yeah, yep, basically like the timeline of what we think the dinosaurs' existence were is inaccurate to what it's seemingly showing in our own history.
I guess though you'd have
And
to
it
ask
could
the
also-
question, what dinosaurs?
Well, we're seeing
Because
examples.
many
here.
of them are no for sure, but I'm saying like many of them are different time periods that were super long ago
Yeah,
that wouldn't match the timeline, but then you have like the more recent ones that could match the timeline.
right.
Like you're saying, like how we live with crocodiles and sturgeon and stuff like that. How we
Yeah.
still technically live with animals that lived during those time periods.
Yeah, like basically,
So
I mean,
they could have an overlap
during the
as well.
ice ages and stuff, like it was like only aquatic dinosaurs were able to survive that during the meteors, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
now, obviously, there's probably a very small percentage that still lived from like the land ones,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and that's why they were able to keep reproducing land mammals and animals and stuff. But like,
Yeah, maybe it was just like major adaptation,
yeah,
and then like
So, I
kind
mean,
of
they
like
had-
what they saw was kind of like an in-betweener of what we see now and what they came from.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
think
they
that would
had-
make the most sense.
They had the pectograph of the Triceratops, so let's just say Triceratops. Let's just make
Yeah.
it simple. Did humans live alongside a Triceratops or pterodactyl because we went the dragon's route as well? I'm gonna say fact.
I'm gonna say fact here too, because like the pictographs that they're showing really kind of like resemble like early American ancestors, whether that's north or south.
Mm-hmm.
They seem very accurate to that, and that's where we find most of the fossils for the most part, especially in like what is it, like Dinosaur Alley or something like Utah,
Yeah,
North America. So
Mm.
to me, I could feel like that could definitely like match up really well there.
yeah, I definitely think that our timelines linked up at some point. Just considering the fact that even today we still live alongside some of them.
Yeah.
So, like, in the very beginning of human nature, there's gotta be way more of them.
Mhm.
Like, that we just evolved to be better than.
I'd like to like also add too that maybe it's not necessarily the dinosaurs timeline we're changing, but ours as well. I'm thinking
Yeah.
we're much older than like what we think it is, and that's why
Oh,
we're seeing
yeah.
these pictographs resemble this
Mhm.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a mutual overlap. They lived longer than we thought, and we also lived earlier than we thought.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
doubt that. I don't doubt
Yeah.
that at all.
Yep.
All right.
Agreed.
So that one I feel like is a pretty easy fact. So
Definitely
we're gonna
worthy
go into
of a
number
I don't know
two,
about
too.
easy facts. Some people are gonna listen to us and be like, "Those freaking idiots have no idea what they're
Yeah.
talking
Well,
about."
that's it's a subjective fact. Like
yeah,
It's-
yeah.
It's a deep dive.
easy
For
for
us.
us. Yeah,
For us, it's easy.
everything
to say.
we're about to say is subjective. There's no
Yeah,
such
yeah.
thing as objective in this. It's
Yeah.
all going to be subjective. But number two.
Let's take care of our mental and physical health first before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire. you is let's take care of our
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, of course, majority of these I put in there, so I guess I might as well just start off for the most part on these videos. Definitely, I could see that being kind of like a mix-up of how he said that, and or he could be saying like we, as in just kind of like there was a person who started at least one of them. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be just kind of like saying that technically, but this timeline and where these fires happened down here match up really well where some of the places that the Olympics are planning to build, and some other stuff as well, like going on, especially with like property out there.
Yeah.
So who
Do
is
I
that guy
necessarily
talking?
think it looks like he's
LA
Mark
County
Pastrella,
Yeah.
I
director
don't
of
know
LA
who
County
Mark
Public
Pastrella-
Works.
Well,
Okay.
we can search him
All right,
up.
that explains it.
Yeah, he's the director of the LA County Public Works, it says.
All right.
So, anyways, do I necessarily think that that's 100% fact? No. I think it's kind of a slip of the words. But I think there's a lot more truth to it than just being straight up fiction.
Yeah. Maybe like a is it called like a what's a Freudian
A
slip?
Freudian slip?
Yeah, like a Freudian slip,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
It definitely seems to be the case. It's probably like under a lot of pressure around this time too. Maybe
Yeah.
people are calling his
Oh,
ass
yeah.
out maybe about something, or he's just getting like the bad
He's just
side
the
of
brunt
like the
of
whip
it.
or something.
Yeah,
you
like,
know?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's. I think it definitely was just kind of a slip of the tongue, but at the same time, I think there is definitely more truth to it than it just being an accident.
100%. Like
Yeah.
So,
when you see the timelines from an aerial view of this, all the three major fires starting, it was almost exactly all at the same time. So
yeah.
there's something more to it for sure.
Oh, yeah. So this
Kyle,
one is kind of hard to do, like the whole fact or fiction one for me
I'm just gonna say
personally.
fiction.
I definitely would lean more towards fiction, but I think there's a little bit of fact to it
Yeah, I agree.
in a sense of like he thinks, yeah, we started it or whatever, but not to the point where it's like, yeah, we started this thing.
That
Deep
was
dive?
just-
Deep dive territory.
I would love it as a deep dive. Because
We could do a deep
obviously
dive on this and the Maui fires.
There's so much that you could. There's a lot of info
They're
around there
just
that
the
you could
same.
do. Yeah,
They're just the same.
and there's probably
simple as
more
that.
here in the Fact or Fiction collection that we got too. That's gonna be around this. I just can't quite remember.
Mhm.
Yeah.
started this.
Okay. Well, I lean a little more towards fiction, but there's probably a little truth to that one.
Yeah, I'd lean towards fiction.
Um,
But who's to say? Kyle's been on the ground investigating the
It's true.
fires.
it's true.
Yeah, gentlemen.
Kyle almost started one of them.
I'm here
almost.
with the Daily Horror Podcast today, and we are on the ground with boots.
Yeah,
Over
boots
here.
Yep.
on coals,
Boots on the coals.
boots with
Alright.
matches taped to the end of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dinosaur cells disprove original extinction date.
That's what we're actually seeing is those cells still in this, let me repeat, unknown specimen, but dinosaur bone from the Hell Creek Formation in Glendive, Montana.
Correct. Correct.
Look at, that's literally the
yeah,
cell.
That's what they look like when they're
Cell. Fibers not deteriorated, not turned to dust yet. Cell.
correct.
Sliced last week, 7 days old.
Correct. So this is 400. Let's go up to 600.
Look at that.
Yeah, right in there. If you like, we can look for some collagen. There's collagen in the specimen.
Here's what I learned from Dr. T last week. And I do remember this part. So collagen is the longest lasting, I'll call it biomaterial protein in bone. And so if there's collagen that lasts the longest, and that would be shelf life of somewhere around 1 million years under decent preservation conditions.
Best.
And we're still finding that in here. We got a major problem for the evolutionary worldview of dinosaurs died 65 million years ago. Collagen in here shuts that. It's like game over. End. Nuclear bomb.
All right. Well, this one goes along with the first one.
I was
that
gonna
we
say
watched.
I can say the same thing that I said about the first one, and I
Yeah.
believe it.
And then also, like,
Reasonable.
when did the original extinction date? When was it published? The original extinction date. Who published it, and when was it published?
I think theoretically we can say that it's always been up to date. Technically,
No, but like, when was who was the first person that came up with that date?
I don't know.
Let's look it up. Let's look it up real quick. Because the reason I say that is because we've been saying it for so long that, you know, outdated technology and outdated research.
Well, the one thing
And
I'll say about that
can,
is
they can make up for an enormous amount of mistakes.
yeah, the one thing that I'll say about that is like it doesn't matter who the first guy is or girl. All that matters is that it's changed so many times since then.
yeah.
Like you find one more thing that disproves that first thing, well then you got a new one. And then you got something that disproves that, and you got a new one. And it's like everything that they're finding daily disproves the original one, you know.
Okay, so I found
The original one, they
Yeah,
probably
so I
thought it
mean-
was. They probably thought it was the meteor that
With-
just wiped
with-
them out.
So
With our up-to-date technology, we should really get into like getting an exact date and getting accurate information.
So I found something on here, in terms of the Cretaceous and Paleogen extinction.
Cretaceous.
Yeah, Cretaceous, and then Paleogen extinction. That would have been with the asteroid, and that was originally proposed in 1980 by a team of scientists led by Luis Alvarez and his son Walter. It is now generally thought that the K-PG extinction was caused by an impact of a massive asteroid, 10 to 15 kilometers, 6 to 9 miles wide, 66 million years ago, causing the Chicxulub crater, which devastated the
Mexico.
global environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
In
think,
1980.
yeah, I want to say like that the asteroid impact, being 66 million years ago, is probably accurate.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That is probably, yeah.
Yeah. However, the extinction of all dinosaurs is like where it gets muddy.
Mhm.
100%.
Generally, the extinction of 95 to 99% of animal life forms, probably I would say, went extinct, or organism life forms went extinct.
That's what I was saying about the first one. Land animals, yes. Not aquatic.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean,
Aquatic would be
some
able to
land
survive
animals
that.
could have still survived.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them could have
For sure.
survived, and then it also came down to like how long were they going to survive with poor air quality conditions afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and also maybe
Mhm.
major weather events changing after that,
Yeah.
occurring from that, and access to clean water essentially, and food.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think there were some parts, maybe opposite side of the Earth, or just in the perfect spot near the crater or the impact zone, were, I guess, some of these able to hide.
Yeah. Yeah, the North
Yeah.
American dinosaurs, they just kept getting screwed.
Yeah. Shit,
then
we
you
can't
got,
catch a
like,
break.
Yeah, you got all these things that just go off. I mean, what was it? When Yosemite went off? Not Yosemite.
Well, there was
Old Faithful.
no North America.
Okay, what we know is North America. No shit. When it went off, that's what caused the last ice age.
You don't have to get aggressive.
So actually,
So
yeah,
it's like-
Defensive.
Good.
You
So-
don't have to get defensive.
They're not gonna survive that, the land ones, but the water ones, the deeper you go, the water's not gonna freeze. So
For
they
sure.
would still be able to live.
So
Yeah.
it's actually funny that you kind of like bring some of that up too. It's because also I was looking up real quick, where was continental drift 65 million years ago? And like I'm looking right now, it looks like North America and Eurasia were connected around that point. So you could easily could see some dinosaurs way over in Eurasia, basically China
Yeah.
area, surviving,
Yeah.
not even necessarily like really
Yeah.
impacted that much. And then once
So-
stuff became stable again, they just started moving west eventually, and then just got themselves over there as continental drift parted, and then could have flourished for a while.
So at that point, it
Back
was
in the days
the
of Pangea.
the Appalachia continent, correct?
That wait,
Or
say
was
again?
it Pangea?
Pangea.
Was it Pangea or Appalachia?
For that time, 66 million years ago?
Yeah.
Let me see if there's a name for it. In the early Cretaceous, many of the southern continents were still joined together as a part of the southern landmass called Gondwana.
Gondwana.
I'm gonna go with that, maybe.
Yep,
let me search
Gondwana.
up-
Yeah,
let me search up
I'll just say
Gondwana
it's
real
that
quick.
one.
I don't know why I thought it was Appalachia.
Gondwana was a large landmass, sometimes referred to as a supercontinent. The remnants of Gondwana make up around 2/3 of today's continental area, including South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, Zealandia, Arabia, and Indian subcontinent.
Ooh.
So maybe that was just a portion of it. So it doesn't look like that was necessarily all of like what that time period was called.
When did we name those? And why did we name them those?
I don't know.
Where were the humans 65 million years ago? Like, oh, we're drifting. Goodbye, Pangea.
It was in
Gondwana.
Hello,
1980.
Gondwana.
It was in 1980 by the same guy who said that dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago.
He's like, they went extinct from Pangea, and everyone's like, whoa.
What is Pangea?
He
What is
said, "Well,
Gondwana?
He said, do I got a news story for you guys?
It sounds like this guy found an asteroid impact, saw some dinosaur bones by it, and was just like, everything went away.
Yeah. This ruined Earth back then.
That's basically what his research was.
He poked it, did a little taste test, and goes, that's
Mhm.
about 65 million years
66
worth.
million. Yeah,
Yeah,
65, 66.
Yeah, it's around there.
We have a
know my animals.
1 million year profit margin
Yeah.
or room for error.
Yeah.
1 million year room for error.
There's definitely no more cells left in this.
No.
Mm-mm. He's like, you can't even taste it.
Yeah.
It's just a rock. It's not even a dinosaur
Yeah,
bone.
very hard, very tough to chew.
It's a fossilized dookie from a dinosaur.
Yeah.
This is about 65 million years,
Yeah.
if I had to say so myself.
They're like, how do you know? Wait,
Trust me.
tastes? What are you talking about?
He probably just
Try this
said-
and tell me it doesn't taste like 65 million years. Come on now.
I'm gonna go with that one's fact as well because it goes along with the.
Yeah, I think that and the first
other
one are
one.
pretty.
It
yeah,
goes
they're
along
pretty
with the other
similar.
one.
Yeah, 100%.
How
Do we
far are
want to
we
do
in the
one
recording?
more? 24 minutes.
You wanna call it here?
You want to do those three?
Yeah, let's call it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's been another episode of the Daily Horrorcast.
Peace.
Catch us on the next one.
Doses.